what did you see? What did you first notice when you saw this video? Did you see birds on the wires? Good. But did you see the position and placement of those birds as musical notes in your head? Probably not. However, a young man named Jarvis and Nellie did. Not only did he see birds on the wires, he saw something deeper. He saw something more. Using the help of photographer Pamela Pinto to capture these amazing photos, Jarvis used a unique genius to create, arrange, and orchestrate what he credited as music by birds. However, I credit him credit for thinking deeply outside of the box and creating something wonderful. Who sees things like that? People who've learned to be creative. People who have exceptional critical thinking skills. And people who've learned to be present where they are, engaging their environment. When I was a little girl, my grandmother always told me, Connie, wherever you are, be there. What does that mean? It's the best advice I've ever been given. But what does that mean, wherever you are, be there? Be present. Notice where you are. Everything that's around you, not only physically, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally. When I first started teaching at my university here in China in the year 2000, I was surprised to learn that many of the students didn't want to be here. Their low scores on the college entrance exams excluded them from the key universities that they wanted to attend or go to. They had failed. They felt that their chances for real success were gone. I knew I had to do something to reset their thinking. I needed to create a culture where students wanted to pursue excellence and were encouraged to do so. A family atmosphere where they were accepted and their failure was not fatal. A place where they could discover who they are, what they love, what their passions are, and what they were created for. I wanted to provide meaningful experiences and a platform, a stage for them to show themselves in a new light. A place where they would be challenged, even pushed beyond their perceived limits. I wanted to teach them that being successful, whatever that word means, is determined and created in your mind and in your heart, and in what you do and in the choices you make, not what university you go to or what city you're born in. I believe that as teachers, it's our burden, even our responsibility, to provide opportunities for our students, and that given the chance, students will rise to the expectations that we have of them. It is said that you teach the way you learn. I'm a visual, kinesthetic learner, and so I use visual prompts and hands-on experiences in order to teach my students, learning by doing. I provide creative prompts, getting my students involved, triggering their creative thoughts and their ideas, making them think deeply, providing them with educational and life experiences, causing them to communicate their thoughts, their ideas, and their hearts with others. I started in the writing classes that my university had assigned to me. The first thing I did was to divide them into groups, where they started to do group projects. One of their group writing tasks was to create a children's book. They had a very difficult time doing this, mostly because they didn't believe that they could. As the years went by, the students' work became better and better, and they saw the possibilities created by those who'd gone before them. The students were more interested in seeing the books created by the past students than the professionally published ones that I had showed them. Why? Because it gave them hope and a possibility that they too could do something like this. As they looked at other students' work, they started imagining how they could do it, and they could do it better. It sparked their desire to try. I always divide students into groups of 4. Group discussion and group work is critical for students. It helps them to gain a greater experience with others and to learn teamwork. In the beginning, I had great difficulty and frustration in working with Chinese students and doing group work. after complaining for a few years, one of my students finally said, "Oh, Connie, Mom, we know that. There's this old saying in China, one Chinese alone could do anything. Two or more Chinese together can do nothing." Discussion groups help them to get to know each other better. It builds trust between them with a shared experience, growing a feeling of family. Here's an example of one of the children's books that one student group created on their own. Where's Papa and Mama? Is a story about a girl searching for her lost parents. She learns that their disappearance was the result of a curse cast on them by nature for cutting down the forest. And to find them and to save them, she will have to listen to nature and gain respect for the flowers, the animals, and the trees. For my writing class's final, each student has to do the Truman Show assignment using 3 different mysteries. The first mystery is the truth of your world, using the movie The Truman Show with Jim Carrey. The second mystery is the mystery of language, found in the movie The Miracle Worker, the story about Helen Keller and her teacher, Annie Sullivan. Added to her story, the students have to read The 3 Best Days of My Life, which Helen wrote. The third and last mystery is called The Mystery of Salvation. It is covered by a writing by American Black atheist Langston Hughes, and it's called Salvation. The students have to do a comparative analysis of all 3 mysteries, and they have to write a composition of at least 1,500 words. Most of my students write between 2,000 and 2,500 words. You've got to keep in mind, this is their second language. This is a comment by one of my past student assistants who's getting his PhD in Beijing. Micah wrote, "One of the most challenging but rewarding tasks in Connie's writing class is the Truman Show assignment. It not only helps cultivate our critical thinking, but it also encourages us to exceed our limits to write at least 1,500 words using the APA formatting, making us better prepared and less afraid of writing our senior paper. And we learned the lesson of avoiding plagiarism in advance for further academic research. A large majority of my lessons are taught outside of the credited classroom. I've created many clubs and activities. One is the Translation Club. It's made up of 10 of my best writing students. It's a lab, really. 5 pairs of students, each assigned the same sections of a block in a children's book. Weekly, the pairs come together and they share their finished translation sections of the same part with the rest of the group. It's their job to negotiate, even argue, to come up with the best group translation. So far, they've translated 13 books from English into Chinese. Here's a picture of one class from one year and the covers of several of the books that we've done over the years. Then there's my storytelling troupe. This troupe is made up of students who showed great potential to be animated, expressive, and have good stage presence. With training and experience, this group has the opportunity to go out and to perform in front of others, both on and off the campus, for children and university students alike. Here are 2 pictures from the book, Magic Power, created by one of the writing student groups, along with a short clip of my student Eric's performance from that book, being performed first in the library and then in the classroom of his peers.
The coin between the chopsticks became bigger and bigger and even grew arms and legs. It stood on the table confidently and said, "Toby, I am a magic coin." The coin between the chopsticks became bigger and bigger and even grew arms and legs. It stood on the table confidently and said, "Toby, I am a magic coin."
And here's a short clip by one of my girls, Simone, telling a part of her story in the library.
You never know if she's coming or stay until tomorrow getting more food. And so his parents coming.
I use a lot of videos in my teaching, particularly in the public speaking class. The use of short video clips or themed chains of them can be very entertaining, as well as to open up to the students to many different ideas, and it can expand their worldview. Videos, including TED Talks, are a great resource for teachers looking to bring something new, interesting, and creative to the classroom. Presented correctly, they can prompt amazing discussions and give greater understanding to different viewpoints. Videos can be used to provide laughter and to create tears. You can teach kindness and love, responsibility, and many other lessons, as well as helping students to change their attitudes about themselves and about success and failure. After showing a video, a series of videos, I ask my students to spend a period of time talking about the video or videos in their group. Like the questions I asked you at the beginning of my presentation for the birds on the wire. What did you see? What did you notice first when you were watching the video? And then I might add something like, how might you apply this to your life? I give the students about 5 minutes to discuss this. When I call time, one person from each group shares what they came up with in their group. I'll respond to what they said if they didn't go deep enough. Some videos and discussions require more time, like 10 or 20 minutes. It really depends on the content and what I'm trying to get the students to discover. In my public speaking classes, many times, we have impromptu speeches. In their groups of 4, they choose to be A, B, C, or D. When they've decided what letter they are, one of my assistants will call out a letter, and those students will stand up all around the classroom in their groups. I give them a topic. They have 1 minute to prepare a 3-minute speech. Here's Chelsea writing notes during the 1-minute prep time for her 3-minute speech. The next is Lewis giving his speech in front of his small group. During their speeches, I have assistants who walk around the room and they listen carefully and take notes on each student, and then they report back to me. The next one is Charlotte giving her speech. When the 3 minutes are up, I yell time. They all sit down and listen to the peers' praises and critiques of their speeches for another 3 minutes. This procedure is repeated until every student has had their turn. Praise and critique times allow each speaker to receive immediate feedback in their classmates and from them, knowing that they too will have to listen and to give the others good, valuable feedback to each speaker gives them a real incentive to participate. They watch each other's presentation and listen carefully, paying attention to quotes, language, grammar, and they listen to their timing, and most importantly, their content. Every single student pays attention and speaks up. They're all intent on being there and making a difference for the others. They're learning good critical listening skills and being trained in leadership and how to become good coaches and judges all at the same time. Plus, they're building confidence. Confidence in themselves and confidence in the others. This process gives each student more opportunity to give impromptu speeches throughout the class term. Everything is timed, even the discussions. Here's an example of what one of the discussions might look like.
People get about creativity can make our lives better than we thought. Yeah, because creativity is not only ability. It's not only a kind of ability.
I use videos to teach my students transitioning skills. They learn how to create encapsulations. It's like a little pill of the video that they like, keeping its explanation and description to under 30 seconds, so that they might be able to use this later when they need it. These little tricks help the students to be better prepared, to have more confidence going into a speech, an impromptu, or a contest. Being able to use encapsulations to transition effectively is a wonderful technique and a great help to the students. Here's another short example of one of the group music videos made by the public speaking class.
You're insecure.
No worries for the rest of your days.
I never had someone as good for me as you.
MDEC, or Movie Directed English Corner, I think is one of the best activities I've come up with. Student leaders watch an advertised movie like Hachi, and together they create questions that will be discussed the following night or nights with students from all over the campus. Anyone who desires to improve their English with a higher than normal level of learning and critical thinking can come. It's an amazingly successful program. Through all of these elective after-school programs, I've found that students want so badly to share and to participate, communicating with their peers in the target language English, that they will find a way to come up with the words that they need to communicate their thoughts and their ideas with their peers. They're learning English almost through osmosis, learning by doing, and they're loving it. In everything, I expect my students to think deeply, creatively, while improving their English and their critical thinking skills at the same time. They're really doing a great job. I'm so proud of my students. And over the past 15 years, I've been privileged enough to teach at Jiangxi University. We've had literally hundreds, even thousands of very capable students move on to success in public speaking, in teaching, in business, and in several areas of life. Why do I think my students have accomplished such great success? Well, I'll give credit to an amazing grandmother who shared with me this quote when I was growing up. Find something you love doing so much, you'll do it for free, and then become so good at it that people will pay you to do it. In pursuing excellence for my students through creative teaching, I'm trying to provide them with experiences, a platform, and even a stage, so that they might be able to find out what they love, what their passions are, how to think outside of the box, so that they too might create something wonderful, each creating their own version of birds on the wire with their lives. Thank you.